This is looking like this. Wait for some people to get in the room. Wait for some people to get in the room. Shut up. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button. Oh, this here this might not be a topic people still want to talk about, but we still got to talk about it. All right, like, share, subscribe. Europe is facing a severe ongoing migrant crisis characterized by high fertility, maritime journeys in the Mediterranean, intense political tension, and strained infrastructure, with nearly 1,000 deaths recorded by early 2026. While arrivals dropped in 2024, the situation remains critical due to harsh containment policies in North Africa and internal political discord over responsibility sharing. They still getting free hotel rooms, free meals. Stay at home and make your own country great. Fight for your own shit. Over 29,500 migrants have died crossing the Mediterranean since 2014, with 2026 marking one of the deadliest starts to the year, including over 80 missing in a single incident near Libya in March. Frontline nations like Greece and Italy continue to struggle with large influxes, while major destination countries are overwhelmed in providing reception facilities and processing claims. EU efforts to limit arrivals had led to a strategy of supporting foreign border forces such as Tunisia and Libya to act as a buffer, leading to accusations of exposing migrants to abuse and turning North Africa into a trap. The situation has ruled rise in right wing anti immigrant sentiment across Europe, resulting in protests and riots. Ireland is tearing it up. They going toe to toe to them immigrants. They have created great, because you can't say the R word, but gangs in Europe targeting women and children. They doing every damn thing. They have really ruined Europe. And we're going to get into those videos in a minute, such as those in Hague, where police used water cannons and tear gas against demonstrators. The crisis has highlighted a lack of unified European plan, leading to the suspension of free movement, reintroduction of internal borders, and the building of border fences, such as in Hungary. Poland don't take none. One got into Poland today and he was arrested in 15 minutes and sent out of there. Poland is not playing. They anti-immigrant. They not letting none of them in. In 2015, over 1 million people arrived by sea, creating a massive chaotic influx of refugees and migrants. The only people Poland take is the Ukrainians because that's their neighbor. While 2024 saw roughly 239,000 irregular crossings, the lowest since 2021, the routes through the central Mediterranean and western Balkans remain highly active. Refugees and migrants primarily arrive from Syria, Afghanistan, and various African nations. So now the European Union unveils sweeping new migration control measures. Man, you cannot believe this. But why? Why do they want to? One of the tenets of the Illuminati, 10 tenets, is to abolish Christianity. I didn't know what, I had no idea what they would. I said, how they gonna do that? Replace it. They replacing it with Islam. These people worship the Luciferian doctrine. So once Islam is in place, they're gonna replace Islam. Because it gotta be a one world religion, one world dictatorship, and one world currency, one church. The European Union is tightening its borders again. Over a decade after the 2015 migrant crisis, when more than a million asylum seekers arrived, many fleeing the war in Syria, the 27-nation bloc says it cannot afford a repeat. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, the EU's executive cabinet, argues the new system will bring order to migration, speeding up asylum decisions and deportations. But critics say the strategy mirrors controversial tactics used by the administration of US President Donald Trump, particularly the outsourcing of migration control beyond national borders. At the center of the plan, agreements with countries outside Europe, nations in North and West Africa, and others like Rwanda and Uganda are increasingly being drawn into migration deals. These arrangements include deportation agreements, migrant processing centers, and expanded surveillance along migration routes. For African countries, the impact could be complex. Some governments see economic opportunity through funding, infrastructure, and political leverage with Europe. But human rights groups warn of a growing burden, turning parts of Africa into holding zones for migrants who may never reach Europe. They say these agreements risk shifting Europe's migration problem onto countries that are already dealing with their own economic and social pressures. They get on their boats. Insists the reforms will. So now they trying to revamp it, which is some bullshit. Europe and refugee crisis a challenge to our civilization. The current refugee crisis is em- emblematic of Europe's ambience and failure to manage forced migrations in the present time. Despite being the creator of human rights and of the very concept of political asylum, Europe is at the same time dominated by sectarian logic that currently prevails on a global level. Faced with the largest movement of migrants and refugees since World War II, Europe has displaced its borders, both internal and external. The management of humanitarian migrations constitutes one of the areas where significant progress has been made in the process of communication, that is, developing an EU wide approach to an issue that was once prerogative of individual states. Hey, Money Low, what up, though? Honey, America better wake up and get these migrants the hell up out of here when I show you what they how they tearing up Europe and what they doing. It is important to note that how many insistent appeals to Europe tend to focus on distributing the burden of refugees and not on the propensity to share the responsibility of managing the monumental challenge. I miss you, Money Low. I wish you called me. The refugee issue reveals the unavoidable gap between the logic of universal human rights and the nation state's prerogative to exclude undesirables. Indeed, as a result, a unilateral process of definition by the countries of destination. First of all, having reduced border management to a technotronic task measured in terms of economic cost, it's unsustainable. It is unsustainable just as it said. Thank you for hitting that like button. I just had 1,300 people in the room on my other video on Iran. You know, I've been in pain, still in pain. That's why I ain't been able to go live every day. All right, let's get into some of these videos. Let me show you what these migrants is doing. Oh shoot, I ain't want to create none. Oh, search. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna get in the old videos, then I'm gonna get into the new stuff. This is weak Steimer in the EU. He is true. He a weak ass man. No, we're not gonna play that. Nope, that video is too long. We will not do that. An illegal migrant racked up nearly 1 million views online with a step-by-step guide to crossing the channel on a small boat. A Sun probe has uncovered a series of videos that shows the internet influencer boasting from a four-star asylum hotel that it was his dream to come to the UK. Last night, Nigel Farage called the video an advert for crossing the channel. The man, known as Alexandra420 online, has 70,000 fans and detailed his perilous dinghy crossing in 8 different viral clips on TikTok. It's thought that the internet star, said to be from Afghanistan, crossed alongside 434 others on Saturday after leaving Calais in northern France at around 4 a.m. His posts began with a 13-second video from the middle of the channel, which showed a French lifeboat alongside. How the migrants in Europe have created so much chaos and upheaval in Europe while creating our gangs, that they're what they're doing to young girls and women over in Europe, how they create so much chaos and upheaval. This video is about wake up America, get them the hell up out of here. That's what this video is about. And this is an influencer in Europe from Afghanistan living in a four-star hotel. Inside their dinghy. The next 16-second clip showed him wearing a bright orange life jacket and pointing to the sky as the boat continued to power across the channel. A third video, bizarrely set to the theme tune of US TV drama Prison Break, showed the dinghy surrounded by massive freight ships, while in a fourth, he dipped his foot into the water while wearing flash designer trainers. The man was taken in by the border force and processed at Manston in Kent before being bussed to a four-star Crown Plaza hotel in West Drayton. Sound familiar? In London. In his sixth video, he gave a tour of his room, which had 2 single beds and a double bed with an ensuite bathroom. Pointing his phone camera at the mirror, the migrant mocked. Recalling the crossing, he told viewers how he had left France in the early hours of Saturday, beginning the crossing at 4 a.m. in the morning. The migrant also claimed their boat had begun to deflate halfway through the journey, and that, had British Border Force vessels not picked them up, the dinghy could have capsized. Sickeningly, he then encouraged others to stump up thousands of pounds to people smugglers to make the same journey, claiming, quote, being stingy is not good for God, and, quote, those who want to come, this is the best place. He also called living in his hotel a dream. Right, especially coming from Afghanistan, don't have no type of infrastructure at all. He said, "Your country is not your father. That you are stingy. Come to the UK. Those who want to come, this is the best place. Tell 4 friends to come. Why are you so stingy? I risk my life to come here and be taken care of." The migrant later took part in live chats with his followers in the Afghan dialect Pashto, with his fans quizzing him on coming to the UK. Some of his guests appeared to include other asylum seekers in different hotels across the country. One told the influencer, who flashed his purple room keycard to fans, that the Crown Plaza Hotel was a nice place. The videos had a combined 870. Man, but wait till I get to that. Sound familiar? This was an experiment by the Illuminati, by the elites. And I got an old video out there, the Global Compact of Migration, a social experiment that failed miserably. Poland don't allow no migrants in there. Period. You cannot, only Ukrainians. Oh, this video is gone. Okay, let me delete that. That video is gone. Yep. Okay. That's been deleted. All right, let me delete that.
Well, Poland is reaching a breaking point. Across the country, massive protests erupted as Polish citizens demand an end to the unchecked flood of Ukrainian refugees. What started as temporary wartime hospitality.
And that's the only people that they let in was Ukraine because that's their neighbor. Hey, Trudy, how are you?
Has turned into a long-term crisis now in that country. Many Poles say they've had enough. Just in the past week, Ukrainian nationals caught trying to bomb a tenement house in Warsaw. So why is
bomb a tenement house? See what they doing?
Fallout, and how close is this refugee crisis to boiling over? Joining us now from Warsaw, Poland, is Dr. Migrant, political scientist, columnist, expert on Polish national policy. He's been sounding the alarm long before the mainstream media caught on. Dr. Krupa, welcome back to the show. Great to see you.
Great to see you guys again. Good evening from Polska.
From Warsaw. Yeah, late night there. Thank you so much for joining us. So I want to talk about these protests first. What are we seeing? What are they exactly protesting across Poland against Ukraine or Ukrainian refugees?
So the majority of the protests that you showed in that clip there against the refugees basically arose out of a frustration because what we were seeing at the German-Polish border was in essence the German police trying to literally deport across the open border because we are in the Schengen zone directly into Poland. There are several bridges across the Polish-German border in the west, and literally trying to force Poland to accept people who got into Germany from places such as Somalia, Afghanistan, North Central Africa, Syria, and basically majority Islamic countries.
Well, you damn sure don't want the Somalis. We learned the hard way. $19 billion in fraud in Minnesota. You damn sure don't want them Somalis.
Countries from the Maghreb and the Middle East that got into Germany but were deemed unwanted, and therefore they were sort of forced onto the Polish population, literally by the Germans. So the local population.
Now Germany didn't want them, but they gonna send you to your neighbor. You don't want them. Why the hell you just didn't deport their ass back?
Started taking notice that these guys are just walking across the river. They don't look German by any chance, and they just walk straight into Poland. So there was a grassroots organization was called, well, it is called Ruch Obrony Granic, basically the movement to defend borders, which started bringing in citizens to basically enhance the security at these former border checkpoints between Poland and Germany to not take in these so-called refugees or engineers, as they call them in Poland. And this transpired into a political crisis in the current coalition because the border guard, the police were deemed ineffective in doing their job. We heard also from the police itself and from the border guard that their hands were tied, that they couldn't do anything, that these were political decisions. But once the news came out that a lot of these Afghans or Germans or Somalis were crossing literally into Poland and being driven by the German police to the former border checkpoints, that's when the Prime Minister, Donald Tusk, actually said that he had a discussion with Chancellor Merz, and he apparently, made it clear to the German leader that this is unacceptable, that Poland won't be taking in these refugees, but the milk already spilled, so to say. So this then transpired into massive protests all across Poland, which addressed mostly the illegal immigration that we saw happening coming in from Germany, because this was, in fact, an illegal act.
But in the United States, our protest is against Trump and deportation. We want to keep all the criminals. This is insane. This is insane. So you come to the United States, we want to keep all the murderers, the rapists. We want to keep them all.
You want to be a footballer? Why didn't you play football? You're going to get a vote. Okay.
Exactly, Money Low.
You tried to come to England? Yeah? How long have you been in Calais trying to come?
Okay, at least nice to meet you too.
Did you hear about Britain?
I had 1,300 in my other video on Iran.
Yeah.
Future young footballer.
You want to be a footballer, but do you think that you'll be able to? Why do you think Britain? Why did that become your dream?
Since when I was young, given that I played one time in Liverpool like that.
Okay, but not in France or not in Germany or somewhere else, or
Liverpool is not here. Liverpool is
okay.
you have to go there if you want to play that team.
But how are you gonna get there? What's your plan?
Let's like vote.
You're gonna get a vote.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it not dangerous?
Yeah, it's dangerous, but you have to get 50-50 where you go 50-50 in your life. That's your life later. You make it something good, the difference is good life and bad life. That's why.
Instead of making your own country great.
He's already got on the boat.
Oh yeah, my friends. Yeah.
All right. What did he? Were you both at the beach at the same time, or how did he manage?
No, some group. Some group.
Make your own shit great. Oh no, I want to keep that for some. He want to play football. Denmark. This Denmark. Oh shoot. Let me. Oh, okay. Let me do. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it this way.
Despite a liberal reputation politically, Denmark now has some of the most aggressive anti-immigrant policies in Europe. But several lawyers and NGOs estimate that other EU members will follow as more states try to curb an unprecedented influx of migrants and refugees. The city council has recently decided to take action against communities of foreigners that it sees as closed off from the wider Danish populace. Mjølnerparken doesn't look like a slum, but the Danish government has officially classified this Copenhagen suburb as a ghetto with relatively high crime and unemployment and a large number of immigrants. Picture this: a quiet, orderly country suddenly thrown into chaos. Trains stopped, highways packed with families on the move, and a nation known for calm and kindness now overwhelmed. In the mid-2010s, Denmark was hit with a wave of migrants like never before. And for the first time, people were asking if the country could handle it. Then, almost overnight, Denmark took a shocking turn. They slammed shut their borders, introduced zero asylum policies, and enacted some of Europe's strictest immigration laws. A big turning point for a nation that prides itself on humanitarian principles, at once taking in a set quota of 500 UN refugees annually. As this huge shift took place, the world watched in shock and debate while Denmark claimed to have solved its crisis. But did it work? And at what cost? Critics argued it risked reducing core values and creating social division, while supporters supporters said it was a bold, effective response. The question is, can other countries actually follow in Denmark's footsteps? Or was it only possible because of their unique situation? Today, we're breaking down exactly what Denmark did, how it played out, and what the rest of the world can learn from is particularly hard. That year, the
And what they did was they deported their ass and closed their borders. Now this Poland, these Somalis in Poland, like they was here. Damn, I'm gonna have to do it.
The United States is not the only country dealing with illegal immigrants. As we know, Europe typically deals with
This is O'Shea. I like him. This is his other channel, Kinganda. He moved from the United States to Uganda.
Uganda, or Kenya. The Somali community is, in my honest opinion, very prestigious. They have many businesses, they're very family oriented, and they are a successful group here in East Africa. However, in other parts of the world, that may not be the case according to others. If you know about Minnesota, you know a lot of Somalis are there, and a lot of white people were complaining about them.
back in the early 90s,
The Somalis is being kicked out of Kenya. They being kicked out of everywhere that they go because of fraud.
George H.W. Bush decided to start settling some of the Somalians into Minnesota, of all places. Had something to do with agriculture. Since then, their population has increased to like 100,000 people, all in the same state, in the same city. Oh, let's not forget, they get first dibs on Section 8 housing.
And the comments in this
First dibs at Section 8, not an American citizen. All the fraud they committed. It's unreal. It's unsustainable.
video really depicted racism against these Somali immigrants. So once the video was put up, a lady by the name of Mocha commented on this. I assume she's Somalian. It says, LOL lady, at least fact check your lies. Number one, they didn't migrate out of the blue. Do you remember Black Hawk Down? America went into the country under the disguise of humanitarian aid, but only contributed to instability and prolonged conflict. This is true. But instead, they would accept refugees into America because, being responsible destabilizing an entire nation for no reason. Does, in my honest opinion, believe that, it does appear that Somalia
Let me
had
get
a lot
to.
of issues before this, but two.
Let's get past
They come
this.
from Africa. There are police officers checking their IDs. These people have some papers from who knows where. They can't even speak any English. Excuse me, do you speak English? Do you speak English? What are you doing here? Ah, you are from Somalia.
And the interesting thing is because Poland is in the European Union, there is some interesting law that would stop, Poland deporting these Somalians back home.
Let us remember that people from Somalia cannot be deported to Somalia because at the moment there are such regulations.
And the people don't like them there. And number one, let me tell you this. Most of Europe, especially, I would say Central Europe, Western Europe, is primarily Christian or even Catholic, right? And Poland is there. Poland is extremely Catholic. I didn't even see a mosque. All right, I lived in Lublin, Poland for 6 or 7 years. I never saw one mosque there. Okay, I never even saw a Baptist church. All I saw was Catholic churches. I saw some Jehovah's Witnesses here and there. But so Islam is like almost non-existent in Poland. And these Somalian immigrants who are coming over to Poland are Muslims. Now, when I first went to Poland in 2015, there was a big kind of fear against those who were Muslims or coming from Arabic countries. And I got confronted one night by some Polish guys. I was walking down the street or whatever, and the guys asked me one simple question: "Are you Christian?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "All right, cool. Have a nice day." This is 2025 now, but that was the temperature back then. All right, and I want you to hear how
they depict Somali immigrants in their country. We don't know who these people are. We don't know if they are criminals. Somalia is one of the most dangerous countries in the world. It has one of the highest crime rates, so they could be bandits. Did you hear that? Somalia is one of the most crime-ridden, worst countries on planet Earth. We do not want them there. Now, if you want to enter Poland, there are some people that they do want there. Poland doesn't want immigrants. Big change from June. This is not a joke. From June 1st, Poland will have 4 new laws. These laws change the rules for immigrants and jobs. First new rules for hiring foreigners. Company must tell the
I can't understand the damn thing she's saying. So we just gonna end that right there because I can't understand nothing she's saying.
Hello and welcome to our channel. For decades, the United Kingdom has been a beacon for ambitious Africans from across the continent. The dream of moving abroad for better opportunities has often led to the bustling cities and renowned universities of the UK. From the doctors and nurses propping up the NHS to the brilliant minds shaping academia and tech, the African diaspora has become an undeniable and vital thread in the fabric of British society. But what if that dream is being systematically dismantled? What if the open arms are slowly closing into a fist? Today, we're not talking about hypotheticals. We are looking at a series of deliberate, calculated policy changes by the UK government that send a chilling message. A message that suggests the UK may no longer want African migrants. We'll break down the new rules, explore the reasons behind them,
No, we're
and
not.
ask the crucial question, is the UK dream? This is a massive change.
Nope, we ain't getting off into that because I need to get to the chaos that they doing. Oh, here go the grooming gangs. I found it.
The literal and metaphorical rape of Britain has carried on for far too long, and it will soon be exposed for the world to see. In huge breaking news tonight, the government has announced it will finally launch a national inquiry into the Pakistani grooming gang scandal that's plagued towns and cities across this nation for decades. The Prime Minister acted swiftly tonight in a bid to get ahead of the long-awaited Casey report, which is likely to be published on Monday. The massive U-turn, of course, comes just months after he described calls for a national inquiry as a far-right bandwagon. I warn everybody at home to brace themselves for what's to come in the Home Office's national audit on group-based child sexual exploitation and abuse report, authored by Baroness Louise Casey, because the details being leaked tonight are devastating. In fact, the government is so scared about the report's conclusions, it reportedly fears Southport-style riots all across Britain, when the public, you at home, hear them next week. The report has apparently found that grooming gangs can be explicitly linked with men of Pakistani origin. The Prime Minister will be warned that white British girls and boys who were targeted were institutionally ignored for fear of racism. So Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, despite his reluctance.
So they were ignored for fear of being called a racist. While you got grooming gangs that's doing whatever they want to the boys and girls. Crazy.
Will be told to launch a new inquiry into the scandal. He has already, of course, acted on this tonight. And additionally, and quite interestingly, as far as I'm concerned, illegal migration, including those who come over to Britain on small boats across the Channel, is directly linked with the exploitation and violence of British girls. So look, normal people didn't need the Casey report to know that the Pakistani rape gang scandal was racist in nature, both the deliberate targeting of white English girls and boys, and the cover-up that followed. We already knew that we needed a national inquiry. And we already knew that strange men from faraway lands who invade this country on small boats are a threat to the girls and women of this nation. Unfortunately, the people in charge seemingly didn't know or didn't care. That is, until now. Publication of the Casey Review will be a watershed moment in British politics. As political scientist and migration expert Mike Jones eloquently wrote on X today, he said Labour is about to walk straight into a moral and political firestorm. And when it hits, they'll have two choices.
No wiggle room, no clever triangulation, just this. Option A, pull the pin, call for a full national inquiry, open the books, let the public see the rot, even if it means dragging half the Labour machine through the muck. Or option B, kick it into the long grass, pretend Casey didn't say what she said, hope the press loses interest, protect the bad actors, not just in Labour, but across the wider state machinery. Trying to gaslight the nation when talking about the small boat scandal. And when you see that the majority of the people in these boats are children, babies, and women who have been. I do wonder what Mr. Jones thinks of the incoming Casey review on Monday, bearing in mind those comments over the past couple of nights. We're joined now by GB News national reporter Charlie Peters on this. Charlie, thank you for your company. A momentous evening for the victims, for the government as well. They've got lots of questions to answer. And indeed for you, how are you feeling tonight and what's ahead? Well, how am I feeling? That's a difficult thing. We'll get there eventually, maybe in a week. But it's what the survivors are feeling, which I think is so central because it can only ever be Labour to do this. Perhaps it's taken this level of scrutiny on a government led by a Labour Prime Minister for them finally to resist and say we can't actually put up with this level of scrutiny, but we have to take this step forward. Perhaps they've gone for option A, as Mike Jones was referring to. Yeah, in that such a good tweet. Such a good tweet. Nigel Farage tweeted earlier, Charlie. Did you fail to protect some children?
They failed their own children. They literally got grooming gangs. This is Ireland ain't playing. Ireland going head toe and whooping their ass. Damn. Ireland going toe to toe with them.
You don't have to agree with riots to be able to understand them. If politicians dealt with mass uncontrolled immigration, they wouldn't have to deal with riots. We are bracing that for a fourth night of protests in Northern Ireland. The establishment media, the police, many politicians are just trying to pass it all off as far-right racist bigotry. This violence is racism, pure and simple racism. With the police left to deal with the outworkings of
Racism of what they doing to your country.
sad reflection of our society that people are putting identifiers on their front doors in the hope of escaping attack. The Chief Constable has assured us that the police will stand to protect and will bring those responsible to justice and will attempt to prevent where they can. But the Alameda and other towns in Northern Ireland needs to stop. That's all very well said. Now, SG, those Land Rovers, those snatch Land Rovers you can see there is because they have brought the dog units out. And unfortunately, Patrick, dogs can't read a media pass. So when they go down that street, if we happen to be standing there, we'll be right in the middle of it. So a water cannon, not a problem. Baton rounds, not a problem. But dogs, definitely not at this stage of the game. And these units here will go in after the dogs. And then they will try to snatch as many riders as they can on the way through. But this is only really causing real pressure on the Northern Ireland. See, if you have the riot, it is well staffed. The point I'm trying to make is if people...
People's a lot, though.
That's a big...
That's quite a sizable... And social media will be having its effect as well.
Yeah, but if politicians and journalists, here's the key thing, and journalists don't acknowledge some of the feelings of those... This is their communities, then it will grow. Because it's linked
And it has. So this is all. So let me get to what's going on now. These young girls are protecting themselves from the grooming gangs. This messed me up. This is what they're doing to protect themselves from these grooming gangs. Well, they ain't no joke. They definitely ain't scared. They armed, ain't they?
So people come here in the back of a lorry or on a boat across the channel as an asylum seeker, and being softies, we say, yeah, okay, all right, you can stay. Now, over 50 people a day come into Britain because they say, oh, my uncle's there, my nan's there, my little kid's there. And so what's really happening is we let people across the channel. It isn't just them that come. Ultimately, their whole families come as well. We must be absolutely mad. In America, what Donald Trump is doing already is deporting people who come into America illegally. And far from being the monster, now over 50% of Britons think Trump is doing the right thing. Let
Facts.
me promise you something. The only political party that is serious about stopping illegal immigration, about deporting those who come here illegally, is us at Reform UK. It's just won an election for Trump in America. We may be a different country. The principles are exactly the same. If you think, as I do, that the whole thing's an outrage, please support us. Please join us. Please vote for us.
Last weekend, Donald Trump made headlines as he began fulfilling his campaign promises on immigration, a central theme of his victorious presidential run. In a bold move, the former president orchestrated the deportation of migrants to Colombia, forcing the Bogota government into compliance after initially refusing to accept the flights. This dramatic showdown may serve as a preview of Trump's hardline immigration stance in his second term, leaving many wondering
Now
if
Europe
similar
praises
tactics
Donald
will
Trump because now they deporting
lead
their
to
people.
Rwanda for processing. Proponents argued it would act as a deterrent to future crossing, but critics slammed it as both unethical and ineffective. Stormer dismissed the policy as a costly failure, plagued by legal challenges that drained public funds without delivering results. Instead,
You draining your funds anyway by taking care of them and giving them a monthly stipend to survive than taking care of your own people. I can't stand Steimer. I don't know how they voted for that man. And Japan done got rid of theirs. So let me go to the new stuff. This is all old stuff. Hold on.
Ich weigere mich anzuerkennen, dass die Taten von Mannheim, Solingen, Magdeburg und jetzt Aschaffenburg die neue Normalität.
So in Germany there was a huge knife attack, and now they call it Trump style mass deportations after this fight. Let me see if I can get to it. Two people, including a 2-year-old boy, were hurt in this knife attack. Yeah, I know, Money Low. Yep, I talked about it in my last video. I had 1,300 people in the room. They called the attack a new quality of uninhibited brutality in Germany.
Abscheuliche Tat am gestrigen Tag in Aschaffenburg hat große Betroffenheit.
So now that's when Germany started mass deportations after they had that knife attack on that 2-year-old boy and a couple of other people. Let me see if this is in English.
Viewers, let's move further from here. With federal elections on the horizon in Germany, a series of stabbing incidents are inflaming and already.
They have multiple stabbing incidences.
Now, in the most recent attack, two people, including a 2-year-old child, was killed allegedly by a 28-year-old Afghan man who has been taken into custody. The attack comes just a month after a deadly car ramming attack in the eastern city of Magdeburg, and 6 months after a similar knife attack
in the western cities of Sonja and Mannheim. Reacting to the incident, front-runner for German Chancellor Friedrich Merz of the CDU vowed swift action if elected to power. Merz has promised to order permanent controls at all German borders on the first day of his term in office.
Doing the same thing Trump did on his first day. He closed the border. That's what he doing. Now this how they come to Europe on these boats.
Last year was a record year in this regard. Nearly 700 boats reached the Canary Islands shores. And on their decks, mainly young men in alarming numbers. 46,843 illegal immigrants have reached this charming place, turning the lives of residents into hell. People are afraid for their own safety and survival because African newcomers are everywhere here. Now, we don't need immigrants to work. We need jobs for the locals. We need to take care of our land, our people, our children, not illegal immigrants. It's important for Spaniards to have more children because with the massive invasion of immigrants, we will lose our identity.
Facts.
There will be
Hey, Zion.
here, but the socialist Spanish government, against the will of its own citizens, is actually encouraging illegal immigrants to storm the borders. We chose the path of openness because that's who we are. That's why up to 2,900,000 foreigners receive social benefits every month. The effects of such dangerous policies can be seen on the streets not only of Spanish cities, but also in many Western European countries. Everywhere where orders for Berlin and Brussels were unreflectively followed by opening doors wide to Islamic immigrants, terror and fear reign today.
Look at what they doing.
We have had to deal with 32 terrorist attacks.
32 terrorist attacks.
In France and Germany, there were 9 attacks just recently. This is what the streets of Berlin, Brussels, and other Western European cities look like. Chaos, attacks on ordinary people and officers, apartments and cars set on fire.
Wake up, America.
Also at risk are smaller cities like Magdeburg, where an immigrant from Saudi Arabia drove into Christmas market participants, killing 5 and injuring more than 200.
Wake up, America.
Because something like this can unfortunately happen again. The scale of the problem can be seen in these photos from New Year's Eve in front of Milan Cathedral. Italians have a serious problem, but Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, following the example of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, announces mass deportations of illegal immigrants, responsible for a wave of violence and the devastation of cities.
Migration, which has been a big topic we've been discussing about over the years, tackling the issue of illegal immigration solely as a I want to go through this wall. I break through the wall when I go to
Now this going back to Poland. Now listen what he said.
The lowest unemployment in European Union is Poland. GDP after COVID, Poland. One of the lowest debts, Poland. This is Dominic, a member of the European Parliament from Poland, the country that just approved a new measure to shoot and kill anyone that tries to illegally enter their border. Unfortunately, one of our soldiers was killed. A spear because they behave like cannibals. Unfortunately, they don't behave like civilized people. We are the ones with this border problem. So we are protecting the whole Europe. But Poland's strict border control and refusal to take in refugees from non-neighboring countries like Syria and Afghanistan has caused the EU to propose a €22,000 fine for each person Poland refuses to take in, and guys like Dominic to be labeled Islamophobic and fascist.
And Jean-Claude Juncker, the Commission president, says that you're racist. Do you sound proud of the fact that you haven't taken any refugees?
Of course, because this is what our people are expecting from our government. That's number one. This is why Poland is so safe. I don't care. I care about my family and about my countries. When I see the world, I do understand that this is for my future children. Does Poland's strict border policy work? Is Poland significantly safer than the rest of Europe because of it? And do the people of Poland want open borders? Poland are racist. We are proud of it. And I don't really want any immigrants in my country, you know? Thank you, man. Before meeting with Dominique, I headed to the capital of Poland, Warsaw, to see what the locals thought of Poland's border and their border control now being able to kill migrants illegally trying to enter their country. At university.
So now they just gonna unalive your ass. Cross their border, they gonna unalive you. Boom, that's a policy.
A lot of the students' thoughts on, shooting down illegal immigrants who come through the border. It is too bad because I don't see any purpose to use a gun for the person. First of all, we need to talk. We need to identify the intention of the person.
Oh my god, that's like a tough question, but
Crazy question, right?
yeah, but to be honest, like I'm not sure like how they're controlling the borders, but like I saw a lot of refugees in the centrum here.
There are a lot of immigrants all around the Europe, and sometimes it can be dangerous for the Europeans. What are your thoughts on if you came here illegally? What should be done? Oh, I guess I should go prison. Do you feel safe here in Poland as a woman?
Yeah, very much.
Feel safer here in Poland as a woman than you do in India?
Yeah, it's more safe.
Yeah.
It's more safe. A lot safe. You can walk, like go to work at night, and nobody cares, and nobody's like threatening you. That's what I say. On the main street, I really feel it's very safe because there are strange people. Yes.
Yeah, like men in general.
There's some sick people. They fight.
Who should the border keep out? Who should it let in Poland?
Nice people, kind, and with good heart.
Okay. Do you think having a more strict stance on the border keeps Poland safer? Or
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I know that many people have that opinion.
Okay.
I want to believe that it doesn't really matter from which country you're coming. If you apply to the culture, it's gonna be fine.
Sadly, we have nothing to do with the border. Okay, nothing. What are your thoughts on immigration in Poland? Я сам являюсь политическим иммигрантом, и поэтому не мне отвечать на этот вопрос. Я пока не сталкивался с какими-то негативными проявлениями в свой адрес. Why did you come from Belarus to Poland? Я политический активист, и обратно дороги в Беларусь, наверное, нет. How was your experience going through the Belarusian-Polish border? Я еще другой маршрут, я прилетел.
I can't understand a damn thing he's saying.
В Грузии, я жил в Тбилиси некоторое время. It's a great example. Our soldier was killed with a spear. So illegal, terrible. So that would happen on the streets if we would let them in. They started this madness by calling politics. Yeah. Now the politics, welcoming illegals because they were hoping for cheap labor. They found out that those who came illegally, they don't want to work. They don't want to work, but there's much more crime. Sure. So they said, okay, let's spread them around. Let's say that this is our responsibility and European solidarity, and then we're gonna get rid of this problem. So the European Union decided the thing they called quota system. Yeah. Each country should take migrants. They called refugees. That's how they call them. They said you're gonna pay like 22,000 euros per person if you will not take them in. And you guys said no, we're not doing that. No, stop. What were the consequences to that old action? I suppose they tried to force us to take the illegals. We said no. It's better to pay. It's better to have frozen assets, whatever, rather than risk our own life. Okay. And look at the streets now. Okay. There you go. Has Poland always been this way, Dominic? This is what is needed to understand why we cherish our freedom so much. Because of Russia, because of Germany, historically, Poland did not exist for 123 years. In our independence back to 1918. So after that, after 1918, we had a little bit of freedom. But then in 19
Poland don't take nobody. I don't blame them. And you see how clean and safe it is? And they will unalive you at the border if you cross illegally. They just shoot to kill your ass. Mm. I'm gonna end it with this one. The UN document on replacement, right, migration to replace your ass. Oh damn, the video was taken down. God dog, it was taken down. Now back to Britain. Oh, you can't even hear it. You can't even hear it.
It's all kicking off in Ireland because a major working class protest is taking place right now in Dublin.
I don't know why this is so low.
Police chiefs are insisting unions.
I don't know what happened. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button. I'll see y'all tomorrow.